Good morning, everyone. Today we will be talking about federalism and the Bill of Rights. Here's the vocabulary that we will be discussing throughout the PowerPoint. Federalists and anti-federalists. So federalists are the ones that favored the new Constitution. They believed in a strong central government, and they argued that separation of powers and checks and balances, this system created in the new Constitution, is what protected the people. They wrote the Federalist Papers, and they convinced many people to support the Constitution as it was. However, the anti-federalists opposed the new federal Constitution. They favored more power to the states, and they also agreed with the Articles of Confederation because they wanted a small central government. They said that the Constitution lacked a specific listing of rights and needed to protect the people from the national government. They wrote the Anti-Federalist Papers, and the Federalists finally agreed to add a Bill of Rights because this is what the Anti-Federalists wanted, and this was the only way that they would ratify the new Constitution. So Federalists agreed to add a Bill of Rights to ensure people's rights were protected. The Bill of Rights represents a compromise between Federalists and Anti-Federalists. All right, so we're going to get into the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights are the first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution. This is the Bill of Rights in a nutshell. So Amendment 1 consists of freedom of religion, speech, assembly, petition, and press. Amendment number 2 is the right to bear arms. Amendment number 3 is quartering. It deals with quartering of soldiers and basically says that we do not have to quarter soldiers in our homes. Amendment number 4 is no unreasonable searches and seizures. Basically, our stuff cannot be seized and searched without probable cause. Amendment number 5 deals with due process, rights of people accused of crimes, double jeopardy, which means you cannot be charged for the same crime twice, and eminent domain, meaning that the government cannot take our property unless they pay us for it. Amendment number 6 is the right to a fair trial and counsel, meaning a lawyer. Amendment number 7 is the right to a jury in a civil case more than $20. Amendment number 8 is no cruel and unusual punishment, and no excessive fines or bails. So Amendment number 9 are rights kept by the people. Okay, basically, the whole reason for this amendment is because Federalists were scared that if we specifically listed all of our rights, what if we didn't list one? Does that mean that we're not entitled to it? So this basically means, even though it's not listed, that doesn't mean we're not entitled to it. And Amendment number 10 are powers reserved to the states. So the federal government has their own powers, and so do the states. Federalism is a system of government where power is shared between the states and the national or federal or central government. Under the Articles of Confederation, a confederal system existed in which there was a weak central government. According to the Constitution, powers are set aside for the national government, which are enumerated or delegated powers, for state governments, which are reserved powers, this is Amendment 10, and also for both powers, which are called concurrent powers. So these are reserved powers, powers that are reserved to the state. Okay, this comes from, like I said, the 10th Amendment, but just remember that the U.S. Constitution is the supreme law of the land, so states cannot go against federal law or our Constitution. Concurrent powers are powers held by both the national government and state governments. So these are powers they both can do. And enumerated powers or delegated, means the same thing, powers are national powers for the national government. Okay, so in a nutshell, this is federalism, and we see how we have different powers. Reserved are state powers, and they can establish local governments. The states can set up schools, regulate state commerce, so like trading within the states. They can make regulations for marriage laws, and they establish and regulate corporations. So these are all reserved powers the states can do. Concurrent powers are shared powers. So they both the states and the national government can collect taxes, establish courts, regulate interstate commerce, regulate banks, borrow money, provide for the general welfare, and punish criminals. And national powers, which are also known as delegated or enumerated powers, these are all things that the national government can do. They can maintain a military, declare war, establish the post office, set standards for weights and measurements, and protect copyright